Hi, it's Connie Erickson. Welcome to another Live at 5. So, I get a lot of questions. A lot of people ask me about bringing up the past. Just kidding. No one ever asked me that. They're either too busy bringing up the past in the middle of a fight that turns into a free for all, or they're complaining about their partner who just can't let it go. But that's the question, right? Why bring up the past? Shouldn't we just put it behind us and move forward? Glad I asked myself. So, first, I'll mention why, in my opinion, it seems like people usually bring it up. And that's as a distraction to the real issue. So maybe you don't even realize you're trying to distract, but here's how it goes. You don't want to be the only one at fault, so you bring up something your partner did. You don't even mean to. It's a reflex. Just like that, in an instant. Maybe you feel like your partner's offenses are much worse than yours, like you're being blamed for something minor in comparison, so you point out their much more major offenses. Or maybe it's like a tit for tat thing. I'm on my phone all the time. What about you yesterday? So I can tell you right now, in those instances, bringing up the past will only inflame the situation. It gets you nowhere. The best thing you can do is stick to the topic at hand, avoid defensiveness, and take responsibility for your part of the equation. How to handle criticism is a whole nother topic, and you might want to review my Talking Under Fire series for help with that. But anyway, when is it okay to bring up the past? In my opinion, there's only two good reasons to bring up the past. And the first is to solve a problem, and the second is to resolve hurt feelings. Both require calm and some emotional distance from whatever it is you're fighting about. So let me talk about the first one, solving a problem. Maybe you're really frustrated at something your partner does or doesn't do. Maybe your partner doesn't even really see their own behavior or understand its impact on you. It could be anything like being on the phone all the time or overspending, slacking on housework. You get the idea. First, as always, make a time to discuss it. Something like, I know I complain a lot about you being on the phone, but I really want to talk about it. Can we make a time to talk about it without fighting? And then when you do talk about it, you say something like, it felt like you were texting and looking at your Facebook most of dinner on Monday night and Tuesday night. And then I saw you responding to your work emails when we were watching the movie last night. So you're bringing up the past to and then you're going to try to solve a problem. So when you bring it up, your partner might try to defend themselves or point out your offenses. Don't take the bait. Remember, you're trying to solve a problem. So instead, say something like, you might be right. Your work emails are really important, and I'm on my phone sometimes too. But the problem for me is, and you're making I statements, that I really want to tell you about my day, and I feel lonely when I'm trying to tell you and I see you texting. Can we come up with a solution? Don't get caught in the other popular trap of having to agree on the facts. For example, I was only texting 10 minutes. No, you weren't. You were on there for at least an hour. If that happens, again, say something like, you may be right. It might have been shorter. I'd still like to find a way to safeguard our time so I can tell you about my day. The facts are nowhere near as important as you think they are. So the second reason also includes solving problems, but it's really about resolving old wounds. Sometimes we bring up the past because we just can't move on. Past events still bother us. This is another good reason to bring up the past, but it's a tricky one because, again, you must be very clear on your goals and it requires calm and some emotional distance from the event. I've started using a specific protocol to do this from the Gottman Institute, and I can't get into detailed instructions here, but there's a link to the actual protocol on my website. But let me give you, in the blog post on my website, but let me give you an overview. So you'll need to do it when both partners are calm and feel like they can revisit the incident without getting back into it. It's usually best to set up a time. So there's 5 steps. Step 1, both partners identify how they felt during the incident. You don't explain it, you just share your emotion. Like, I felt scared or angry or betrayed. You get the idea. So both of you do this. Step two, both partners share their realities, such as, I was really strung out from a crazy day with the kids, and then I see you walk in, sit down, and start using your phone. Be very deliberate about only describing your vantage point. For example, you're not saying, then you just walk in and start using your phone. It may seem like semantics, but it's important and takes practice. So I saw you using your phone and it bothered me. Okay, it may seem like semantics again, but it's important and it takes practice. So then you validate each other's perspectives. Oh, I can understand how you would see it that way. That makes sense. You have to avoid defensiveness, it's counterproductive. You're just seeing how it makes sense from their point of view. Third step, you disclose your triggers. And what that means is that you explain what hot button got pushed and why that's a hot button. For instance, I felt all alone and I'm sensitive to that. Like you could even tell a story from your past to tell why you're sensitive to that, such as, I always felt ignored as a kid because my parents had to take care of my sick brother. You both do that. Step four, both of you explain what set you up for that conflict, and then you take ownership for your part of the equation, such as, the kids were really off the wall and demanding that day, and I was especially on edge. If I hadn't been so stressed, I probably would have given you a chance to explain yourself. I would have told you I had something I wanted to talk to you about. And then lastly, step five, we go back to the first example of problem solving. You make a plan for the future. Something like, all right, well, how about we tell each other if there's something we really need to talk about, or if there's a pressing work issue that you're going to need to be on your phone about. So we can tell each other that so we don't end up jumping to conclusions. Something magical happens when we validate each other's feelings instead of defending ourselves. When we feel validated, that right there is the point where we actually can start to move on and put the past behind us. The same holds true for when we take ownership of our part of the situation, however small. Magic. So try it out. Tell me how you go. Try it out. Tell me how it goes, and I will see you the first Monday of next month. Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.